sir. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your time coming on. My goodness, I was only 8 years old when that happened, but man, from 87 to 1990, number three, sir, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Listen, we appreciate your time. I know that your schedule is probably hectic, but listen, from one king to another, thank you for your time here. Thank you for what you do, continue to do in the community. So let's get to it, fam. I just want to ask you really quick, and we can get right into it. Um, I know you're frustrated. The fan base is frustrated. Everything's going on right now. From the outside looking in, because I have specific questions that I want to ask you. From the outside looking in, what do you see that is missing? What the hell is going on with these losses? Because I'm sorry, we got the leadership to get it done. I'm fully convinced that Mario and company are the right guys to get it done. But what's missing?
It doesn't have anything to do with play calling. It doesn't have anything to do with talent. It has everything to do with the right attitude and the right personality. I've talked to broadcasters, whether it be Joe Zagacki, whether it be some of these guys who Jim Barry, any of these guys who talk about sports and talk about football, and I try to explain to them that the talent pool is, I'm not going to say it's that much of a difference from team to team, but the attitude definitely is. Um, and I hate doing the whole when I played and this and that and that and this, but I'm going to do that tonight.
Do it.
Um, because when I played, our talent level, okay, go back in the periodicals and show me where Russell Maryland, the first pick of the NFL draft in 1991, was highly sought after coming out of high school. Go show me where Cortez Kennedy was highly sought after. Hell, he had to go to a junior college. Go show me where Alonzo Highsmith actually was a damn good running back and or fullback. He played on the other side of the ball. Show me where Randal Hill was a top-rated wide receiver. Never played wide receiver until I got to the University of Miami.
Wow.
I go on and on. It's the attitude that what's causing the losses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to blame this one on Mario Cristobal. I'm not going to blame it on Alonzo Highsmith. Guys who I know, guys who I have faith in. I'm blaming it on the individuals who play on the field. I'm blaming it on the attitudes of, okay, well, we're down. There's a possibility that we're going to lose this game. You cannot go into any game thinking that you're going to lose or there's even a possibility of losing this game. Listen, I'm going to tell you a story. I've told a story on radio. I've told a story with Big O. I've told this story on ESPN. And it's a crazy story. 1987, I was a freshman. And we had won 2 straight games. We had blown out Florida, 46-4. We gave them 4 points because we felt bad for them. And we crushed Arkansas, knowing that Jimmy Johnson had roots there, and we wanted to make sure that we respected our coach by blowing out Arkansas. And then we played against Florida State Seminoles. By halftime, we were getting our ass handed to us.
Mm-hmm.
We were getting crushed. I was a true freshman at the time. So I walk into the locker room, and I'm paying attention to everything because I had never been in this situation at the University of Miami before. So on the right side of the locker room was the defense. Okay, yeah, there was a mini riot going on that side of the locker room. I will say that. There was some choice words being said. On the left side, you had Gary Stevens, offensive coordinator. He's trying to work his magic. He's at the chalkboard, and he's trying to, get us to compose ourselves and work the offensive game plan. And then all the way to the left, sitting by himself with his Walkman, old school Walkman,
Mm-hmm.
was Mike Irvin. I walk over to Mike and I said, Mike, We're getting our asses handed to us. I said, what are we gonna do? I mean, what the hell is? And I'm like internally panicking. And Mike, he took off his headphones and he says, "Look." And back then, we wore these shoes called Tiempos.
Okay.
He says, "Look at my shoes." He says, "I got a little dirt on my shoes." And he says, "What we're gonna do is this." He says, "You're gonna help me lace up a brand new pair of shoes that don't have any dirt." He says, "Rookie, grab me those shoes from on top of my locker." Grab the shoes. He says, "You lace the right one up, I'll lace the left one up." And I said, "Okay, but what the hell is that got to do with this game, right?" And Mike said, "Look, this is what's going to happen. We're going to go back out on the field. We'll get some plays from the sideline. We'll probably call a couple of audibles in the huddle and or at the line of scrimmage." And he says, "I promise you, by the third quarter," I think we were losing by 17 points. He said, "I guarantee by the end of the third quarter, we'll be winning this game." First series, Irvin calls an audible with Steve Walsh, touchdown. The next series, Melvin Bratton calls an audible. I mean, you can go back and look at it on the film. He throws up his hand. That means that we're breaking our route. Touchdown.
Yeah.
The very next series, I want to say it was Martin Mayhew that Irvin beat down the sideline. Had an audible with Steve Walsh. Touchdown. This is not about play calling. This is not about players on the field and talent. This is about attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the players, fans understand that you have to have the right attitude to win these games, whether it be Duke, whether it be Little Sisters of the Poor, whether it be Middle Tennessee, whether it be Wartburg State, whether it be Florida State, you have to have the right attitude. And that's what I do not see right now.
Amen. You need to listen. You preaching to the choir because I've been saying it and I've been saying it. And by the way, if you're just now joining us, that man on to my right, I don't know if it's your right or your left, Randal through a hill, played for Miami, 87-91. Needs no introduction. He's joining us. You're listening to the Miami Hurricanes Watch on the 305 Sports Talk Network. And Thrill, I've been saying it, man, like coaches coach, players play. It's about a sense of pride. Sometimes X's and O's go out the window, and you gotta beat the man in front of you because you are a better football player, right? You came here to play football, and you didn't come here to get punked. It just feels like sometimes, like give me a helmet. Like, damn, I feel like doing this. But listen, what you described, see that four-letter word on my hat? It sounds like I want to know what it takes to have that, because you can't just walk around with a swag. You can't, that stuff doesn't exist without what I think is hard work. With hard work, and look, you just named them. Russell Maryland didn't have all the accolades. You yourself didn't have all the accolades. A lot of guys out there that are Miami guys did not come in here and they were the best player in the country. So what does it take? And I know swag doesn't win games. I get it. I know exactly what the hell that is. And I've never been inside of the University of Miami locker room. But that four-letter word was invented by you guys because of a work ethic. And you pretty much answered the question. That's the difference between now and then. That work ethic, that belief in oneself, belief in the system, belief in the coaches. And sometimes you just got to take ownership of it. Coaches coach, players play. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, again, there's a difference between being a fan, and then there's a difference between being a fan and a student of the game.
Oh my God!
At the University of Miami, we were students of the game, and we became professors of the game.
Oof.
To the point where when your coach has to call down, the office coordinator has to call down from the press box and say, "Hey, listen, we're going to take you out of the game because we're crushing this team, we're crushing that team, and we don't want to embarrass them too bad." And by the way, back then, the media crushed us because of some of the stuff we did on the field. But I bet they really wish that we were there now But it's a sense of pride. Listen, when you go out on that field, the first thing that I recognize is the names on the back of the jersey. Yeah, we are a team, and I'm going to get to that team stuff in a little bit.
Okay.
But you have your name on the back of your jersey. Do you really think I want to go out there on the field and embarrass my mom, embarrass my dad, embarrass my grandparents, my grandmother who worked at the University of Miami? You must be out of your rabbit ass mind. So that's first and foremost. Second, you have the team. Now, when I say team, let's put that in parentheses. Is football a team sport? Technically, yes. Now, I know some people are listening now and they're probably saying, Randall must have CTE because it's a team sport. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But no, the way I look at it is football is on any given play, 11 individual fights, 11 individual battles. I can't, as a wide receiver, I can't hike the ball for the center. I got to run my route. I can't block as a guard or tackle. I got to run my route.
Mm-hmm.
I can't throw the ball. I can't throw the ball and run and go catch it. Well, technically, I was fast enough. I probably could have done that. But however, you have to win your battle, win your fight. It's 11 fights working collectively on a given play. Yes, I'm pretty sure that some people are listening to this right now and saying, like, well, damn, I didn't know he was that intelligent and or that deep. Yes, I was a clown on the field. I had a lot of fun, but it's about being a student of the game and being able to understand that you must win your battles.
Right.
Talk about swag. Let's go back to swag. And let's take a tour around the room. Okay,
Preach, brother. Preach.
now swag. Muhammad Ali. That's swag. Talking about swag. Jackie Robinson. There's his signature. That's swag. Let's just take a look around the room. Dr. Michelle Hill. MD. That's swag. Yours truly. Randall Hill. That's swag.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lifestyle. It's not just talking about it. You have to live it. You have to own it.
Oh my God.
You have to know that everyone's going to come after you because you represent the University of Miami. We pounded people's heads in for years. So you trying to think, even though the University of Miami is down, people are not going to want to pound the hell out of the University of Miami? You owe it to the individuals before you who laid and set the precedence before you to stand up, suck it up, win games, and definitely don't lose any games at home. And I believe in Mario Cristobal. I believe in Alonzo Hospital. They'll get it together. And I put out and follow Randall Hill on Twitter, Randall Thrill Hill. And if you go back and look at some of my tweets, I said this after the first win. I said, listen, don't come asking me, is the University of Miami back?
No.
I said, I will let you know when they're back. I haven't said anything. So they ain't back yet.
Listen, man, it's that simple, and it's just frustrating because as much as I hate to make it sound simple, I think a lot of it is generational. How it happened, I don't know. But it just feels like somewhere along the way that there was a template that you guys had, right? And it was passed down and it was passed down and it was passed down. But that somewhere along that line, people wanted to edit. And when I say people, I mean players, maybe coaches, but for the most part, players, because players play and coaches coach. And I'm sorry, you guys listening, ladies watching, you heard him. You heard him say it, all right? These guys would take it upon themselves. Let me ask you this, Randall. How many times, well, you said it was audible. How many times, if you could put a percentage on it, a play came in from the sideline, headset, whatever the case is, and it was like, nah, hell no, I don't give a damn. This is what we're running because this man's guarded me. He can't, I've been doing this to him all game. He can't cover me, so throw it here. Or look, let's shift the block in this way because this man can't talk. We're going to run. How many times has that happened? Can you put a percentage on it? Because that's being a student of the game.
Yeah, it happened a lot when I was playing. But I temper my statement by saying they are not there yet. They're not even
Yeah.
close to being there
Yeah,
yet.
no.
I distinctly remember when Coach Erickson came in and we played against Wisconsin
Hmm.
that first game, and like half of the plays we changed. Coach Erickson didn't even know at that particular point our hand signals that we had carried over from Jimmy Johnson. And there was a time we told him, after that game, hey, no, hey, we got this. Don't worry about it. We're good. We're good. Because you have to become a student of the game.
Right.
If you want to be a player, okay, that's fine. If you want to be a good teammate, that's cool. But you have to be a student of the game and elevate yourself to being a professor of the game. And the only way you're going to do that is by studying, studying, studying. Listen, our game plan and our scouting report, I could tell you if someone was married. I could tell you if they had kids. I could tell you their mother's name. I could tell you their kid's name. I could tell you their dad's name. I could tell you if they shaded outside head up that they're gonna quick jam and then release off the line of scrimmage. I could tell if they stayed steady and they had a wider stance that they were gonna
Mm.
stand there and try to funnel me to the inside. But again, this is being a student of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I don't see that as of yet. Now, I guarantee you, and I haven't been in any meetings, but I guarantee you, because listen, Mario ain't with the bullshit. And I gotta say it like that. Mario ain't with the bullshit. I guarantee you, Mario is doing exactly what was done to us. You come into a meeting, especially after a loss, and you're sitting there and you're looking at the man. You're looking at Jimmy Johnson. Hey, listen, guys. Let me remind you. And even if we didn't blow somebody out, if we, these have to be those are called style points. That'll be
Hmm.
on another episode. We'll talk about style points. But Jimmy Johnson will look at you and say, look at the team and say, listen, um, I want to remind you guys that your scholarship is 1 year renewable. And I don't have to renew it. So you better produce because there's a million other young adults who would love to wear that U on the side of the helmet. There's a million other young adults who would love to wear that green and orange. There's
Hmm.
a million other adults who would love to get a quality education at the University of Miami. So let me remind you that your scholarship is 1 year renewable.
Well, I'm gonna do this. Two things. And again, Thrill, thank you for your time. I know 15 minutes, but look, listen, talking to you, I could do it for an hour, 2 hours. I know you got things to get to, family, work, whatever the case is. If you give me 5, 10 minutes more, I'd really, really appreciate it because there's two
Got it.
more things I wanted to ask you, man. Um, there was a situation this week where a player on the roster's mother tweeted something saying, "Hey, can you imagine, a coach on your team coming in and saying such and such and such and such to the entire offense or to the receiving room?" It was a player on the team, a receiver on the team, and his mom tweeted that. So obviously, the player is expressing certain things that go on in the locker room or that are said to him to his mom, which I think is okay. I mean, that's probably the only person he talks, or one of the people that he trusts. But the line is drawn. Mom kind of needs to stay off social media. My whole thing is this: if you can't take what's being said to you by a coach, and it's not like if it was said to you individually, okay, it was said broad, to the entire offense or to the entire team, what's going on, and if you are not mentally fortified or mentally strong enough to take that, is that a Miami guy? Because that's leading me to my next question. I asked Mario Cristobal this, and I got one of the highlights you can get as a reporter in a press conference is when somebody tells you, "Oh, that's a good question." That's exactly what Mario did for me. So I asked him. I said, "What does it take? Is being a Miami guy something that is born in you?" Is it something that can be taught, or is it something that you can learn? Is it something that is you go out on recruiting and you see a high school recruit, that kid's got it? Is it
Well,
simple as you whether you got it or you don't? Can you
eh,
speak on that?
okay. So this is a very wide open question. So, and I'm going to address it. First, let's talk about this mother who made a statement, and that's what we live in now, the world we live in. My parents would never do that. Um, but parents need to stay off of social media when it comes to referencing their kids. You got them there. It's time for them to take it from there. Leave the team's name out of unless you have actually played the game. I don't want to hear what you have to say on social media. Unless you have actually showed me where you have a master's degree in football. And what I mean by a master's degree in football, meaning being able to at least make it to D1 and playing. And by the way, a doctoral degree is win a national championship. So I can do that. Parents need to stay off of social media because the only thing you're going to do is hurt and hinder that kid's or that young adult's development. Sometimes it's time for you to stand up, be a big boy, put your big boy panties on, and go to work.
Right.
And that's in the classroom and that's on the field. Now, the next issue or topic that you mentioned was talking about a Miami guy. What is a Miami guy? Okay, so a Miami guy is someone on the field who doesn't take any. I gotta say it like this, and usually I don't talk like this. Hopefully, my parents don't hear me or don't hear this. They don't take any shit on the field. Okay, no crap on the field. But you know what? They actually also do what they say they're going to do. You say you're going to win the game, win the game. You say you're going to blow somebody out, blow them out. That's a Miami guy. A Miami guy says what he says, means what he means, and actually backs it up on the field. You're not going to see anyone back in the day celebrating if they're not getting the job done. Now, Miami guys back then came from New Jersey. Miami guys back then came from Chicago. Miami guys back then came from New York. And Miami guys back then came from all parts of Texas. And finally, Miami guys came from the 305. So again, which goes back to the nexus and or the origin of or the initial statements that I made. The right attitude. Everybody that all those different areas of the country. Oh, by the way, there's a few from California. Those are Miami guys with the right attitude, the right purpose, working collectively to be champions on and off the field. Because we also had, even though we was winning national championships, and by the way, most of the professors out there didn't like us, and we sucked it up, and we still had one of the highest graduation rates in the country, bar none. So we actually went out and won national championships. But you know what? I played with a guy who was on the offensive line who's a doctor now. I also played with a guy who won a national championship in 1987, who's a lawyer now. And you know me, I'm like the real Jason Bourne. I am them, I am they. I'm a figment of your imagination and dismiss that so. I'm your man in black. I'm a federal agent. We've had a lot of fun on the field, but we got it done. That is who a Miami guy is. Get the job done. Even if you look back during those times, you had rioting, you had civil unrest.
Right.
Sometimes the economy was up, sometimes the economy was down. People were there was a lot of racial tension back then. But Miami guys brought Miami together. Miami guys believe in showing the community that you can argue outside that stadium, but when you come to that stadium, you're going to support Miami guys.
Man, I'm getting goosebumps listening to you because, like I said, I'm 39 years old. When Miami was doing their thing in the 80s, I was born in '83, so I really didn't pay attention to Miami football. Maybe late '80s, early '90s, till I was able to know what was going on. I missed a lot, right? but I know my stuff, and I know that it takes everything that you said. But I think a lot of the guys, they talk a good game, and I'm not saying that they're not capable of doing it, but high school and college are two completely different animals, and then obviously to the NFL. But we're talking about Miami right now,
Yeah.
and I think they talk a good game, they say it, but I don't necessarily know if they really mean it. Okay, I don't know if they really mean it, and it takes caring about number one yourself, what you do, because let's be honest, sometimes you got to put yourself first. Okay, so you, like you said, football is 11 individual competitions. Take care of yourself first, okay? But then you have to take care of your brother. You know how many times it pisses me off? Somebody's at the bottom of the pile, and it happened a lot before, not so much now, but somebody's at the bottom of the pile. There was nobody rushing over. Get the hell off my guy. Let me get my guy off the pile.
You,
Like
you know
there
what?
was,
I got to interrupt you.
please.
And it's funny that you say that because I can't tell you how many times in practice and even sometimes in a game where I run down, catch the ball, get tackled, get hit, and I'm being picked up by Mario Cristobal or his brother Lou Cristobal. Hey,
Hmm.
buddy, you okay? Come on, hey, we gotta go get some more. Let's go. Gotta go. Get up. And they're dusting me off. But it's like I said, it's a lifestyle.
Amen.
It is a mentality, but it's something also that you cannot teach. You have to have it in you. And I'll say this: when you first get to the University of Miami, when I was playing,
Hmm.
I learned very fast that it's a wolf pack, and sometimes wolves do eat their own.
Mm. Mm. You know what? Leadership and accountability is void right now. And whoever this gets to, whatever player this gets to, whatever coach this gets to, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it as a fact because I don't see Mario Cristobal's on that roster. I don't see Lou Cristobal's on. I don't see Thrill Hills. I don't see Vilmas, Reeds, Michael Irvins, who was telling you to tie one of his shoes, and you're like, what the hell am I doing? It doesn't make sense to me, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right. I don't see that. And I think that's the main thing that's lacking because talent's not it. Coaching isn't it. It's up here and it's here. And
Yeah,
it's frustrating that, like you said, he can't teach it. So the good thing about it is we know somebody at the top of at the top of the coaching chain right now that's leading this program knows what it looks like, and he's going to bring those dogs in because these guys, they talk a good game. And look, again, I love me some James Williams. I love me all of these guys, but something is not transferring over from the high school
yeah.
gridiron to now.
I listen. You're talking to someone, and I'm gonna tell you some things that you don't know.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I played at the University of Miami. I'm in the Hall of Fame at the University of Miami. I have two national championship rings, University of Miami. Big O knows this. He's probably back there saying, "Yeah, I know where Randall's going with this one." Um, my wife is the first African American inducted into Phi Beta Kappa chemistry, University of Miami. Name engraved on the wall at University of Miami. My parents both got their master's degrees at the University of Miami.
Oh wow.
My grandmother worked in the cafeteria at the University of Miami.
Mm,
My uncle, who was he's a retired assistant superintendent of Miami-Dade County Public Schools, um, graduated from the University of Miami
okay.
with his doctoral degree. I am University of Miami, and nothing hurts me more than to see what is going on right now. You have a lot of players who've gone through the University of Miami. Nobody has the legacy that I have at the University of Miami. I keep my mouth shut. I don't say much unless someone like Big O grabs me and say, "Hey, listen, all right, bro, you got to talk to the fans." I'm like, okay, I'll do that, bro. But it hurts me to see what is going on now.
Hmm.
But I also can see the shining star on top of the mountain because I know that Mario is not going to put up with it. And again, go to my Twitter page, Randall Thrill Hill. Um, you will see where I said I will let you know when the U is back. Not until then. Period.
I think it's that simple, man. Because you want to know what? And this is not to insult anybody that knows when the University of Miami is back, because I never laced them up. Okay, but let me tell you something. My first game at the OB was I was in the fourth grade. It was the game that made it 58 in a row. The very next week, Washington came down and got lucky. All right. That very moment, I was in the fourth grade, Thrill. I knew this is where I needed to be. And again, I'm a basketball guy. Football is my first love, but I wanted to get into sports so quick. Middle school's down here, and my parents couldn't afford, letting me play optimist, something like that. Middle school is the first thing that I can get to play sports, so I did basketball. I'm a hooper. I'll take anybody in the hardwood. And then I high jumped. But football's my baby. And I knew, like, you can tell, like, Notre Dame 2017. You want to know when I knew when Miami was winning that game? The very first defensive series, because Miami was playing on defense first. That very first defensive series.
It's funny. You know when you said that, and I'm gonna up you one. You know what I knew when we were gonna win games? Before we even came out of the locker room, because we was already talking about when we were gonna hang out and party. Because we knew. And I noticed this when the very first game I played in, University of it was just University of Florida. I seen our defensive squad, Tolbert Bain, Benny Blades, Danny Stubbs, literally go stand in front of the visiting team's locker room, which is University of Florida, and told them, walk around us. This is our home.
Oh my God.
Walk around us. This is our home. Hey, don't touch me. I beat your ass. I listen, but that is the swag that has to be carried onto the field.
Right.
You can't just talk about it.
No.
You got to be about it. You have to live it. You have to live it in your classroom. You have to live it in the dorm rooms. You have to live it with your family. Even now to this day, I go bike riding. I'll do 15, 20 miles, which is not far. And my wife is with me, and I'm pushing her to grind a little bit more. Come on, let's go faster. I don't know. Maybe I'm sick in the head. Maybe I have what's called the drum major instinct, which is what we had at the University of Miami. Drum major instinct, as per Dr. King, the want, will, and or desire to be the best. A drum major leads. A drum major shows the rest of the band the way. That's what we did at University of Miami. We showed the rest of the community the way. We showed the rest of the community how to be a family. We showed the rest of the community how to bring home the trophies. We showed the rest of the community how to stick together. The drum major instinct, and that's what they're missing too.
You want to know what your problem is? That it's a hurricane thing and you wouldn't understand. That's what it is. That's what you just said. But yeah, man, it's you want to know what I also think it is too? Like, you gotta love football. And Coach Cristobal says it all the time. Like, this is a vocation to me. Like, if it was for free, I'd do it for free. Love football to the point that you can't be without it. And I know you guys love football. You loved each other, you loved football, and the only way you can do what you just did, party before the game, get in front of the locker room, say, walk around me, don't touch me, is if you put it on the field and you worked, and you worked to get it done, because you're going to look dumb as hell if you don't get it done.
I know these guys work, but I don't see them putting in the extra work that they should be putting in. I don't see them on the field in the summer starting at 3:00 and not getting off the field until the sun goes down without a coach. I don't see them going to the beach, training and running on the sand, because it's harder to run on the sand than it is a flat surface. I don't see them going over to Tropical Park and running the hill over there until you can't run anymore. Running them straight up, running them backpedaling, running with your hands behind your back. I don't see them doing that.
Wow.
It's not just what the coaches, hey, you need to go out and I want to watch you run these routes and Chris Brown. No, you have to do this on your own. And I have yet to see or hear these current players doing just that. They have to have coaches around them. We didn't need to have coaches around. We ran 7-on-7 by ourselves. We ran 1-on-1 by ourselves. I'm talking about literally from 3:00 until the sun went down. You can't talk about it. You got to be about it.
Listen, I don't get kudos for doing what I'm supposed to do as a father. I don't get kudos for doing my job. I get kudos for going above and beyond and that extra stuff. And that's how you get. Listen, I don't know if that's what's going on in Alabama and Ohio State or whatever the case is, but it's different than what's going on here. And I hate to compare, but they're at the top of the chain, and Miami is trying to get there. But Thrill, man, my goodness, you are a wealth of knowledge. You are a wealth of knowledge. You are very well respected. Thank you for everything that you do in the community. Thank you for speaking out when asked. And there's just one more thing I want to ask you. And I know I
Yep.
keep saying it, but I mean it this time.
Mhm.
um, I was talking to which player was there? I was talking to Will Mallory today in the press conference, and I asked him. I said, "How often do you either reach out or maybe they reach out to you? But how often are you in contact with former players? And it doesn't have to be the Randall Hills, the great guys in the '80s. It could be the Brevin Jordans or whatever. Does that really should that or does that affect what the guys now are doing, or do you think that the guys maybe like yourself or the guys that helped build this thing, because I know Mario's going to welcome it. I know he's going to welcome it.
Yeah, some legends just fade off to the sunset. Mario, and I stay in contact with Mario, by the way. I
I'm
stay
sure
in
you do.
contact with Alonzo Highsmith. Quick side note: when Alonzo Highsmith first came to Miami, I was the first individual that he met. Alonzo Highsmith used to live right in front of me, so I know these guys. Um, so Mario has welcomed me back. Alonzo has welcomed me back. Some legends just fade off into the sunset.
Okay.
Um, and just go over the horizon and while waving their hand. Um, I you know I don't mind going back and letting the guys see me and asking questions, but they have coaches now,
Mm-hmm.
and the coaches have to do their job. Players have to do
Mm-hmm.
their jobs. I'm here to support whatever Mario and Alonzo Highsmith asked me to do. I'm going to do it. I don't have a problem doing it. Maybe I will stop out there. I know I was afraid when I saw Jerome Brown come out on the field. I'm like, oh, damn, I hope I'm doing it the right way. I was afraid. I'll tell you this true story. The very first thing, as I let my dog out, the very first thing that you do as a player when you get to the University of Miami as a freshman is you run the 40.
Mm-hmm.
And I had on some high top, old beat up um, Nikes, high top.
Okay.
And Alonzo Highsmith came over to me because he hadn't got his contract squared away yet. And he says, and Jerome Brown was there, and a few other guys were there. And he says, Randall, he says, you gonna wear those to run the 40? And I said, yeah, bro, I'll bust it out these right here. Oh, beat down. I mean, didn't even have any spikes on the bottom. And he says, well, Jimmy Johnson asked me who was going to be the fastest freshman, who's the fastest on the team. I said, okay. He said, I told him it was going to be you. And I said, okay. And he looked at me and he says, Randall, don't disappoint me.
Mm.
We grew up together. Don't disappoint me. Because if you do, I don't have any words for you, and I don't have anything else to say to you because I told everyone you were going to be the guy. And you're going to wear those beat up shoes? I got you, Alonzo. I got you. I ran the 40. Alonzo was walking away. He yelled back to Jimmy, what's the time? And Jimmy said, yep, he's the fastest.
Mm.
And I looked at Alonzo and I said, bro, I will not, if I give you my word, I'm not, because you know why? Because guys who, like, it's almost like a pecking order. It's almost like a football mafia.
Oof.
Some of the guys who came in after me, they called me the OG. I look at someone like an Eddie Brown, Stanley Shakespeare, Smokey Roan, Alonzo Highsmith. Hey, those are my OGs. I can't let these guys down. And if I sit down at a table, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm in the Hall of Fame and at the University of Miami, but you know what? The guys who came before me, who paid the price for better things to come, and for guys such as myself, I gotta pay homage. It's the same way. You don't disrespect an OG by losing games. You don't disrespect an
No.
OG by letting an opponent score. You definitely don't disrespect an OG by letting someone, a team, come in to South Florida,
Mm.
Miami,
Mm-mm.
Miami got 305 and win. Man, get the hell out of here, man.
There's no other fraternity like it. I know people try, they could build statues, they could do whatever the hell they want, all American after all American, and it doesn't have to be that doesn't have to be the accolade that makes the University of Miami the University of Miami. It's that brotherhood, and people like to give Kirk Herbstreit all the credit because he said what he said on College Game Day. No, he's the guy that made it national. Everybody knows that Alonzo and who else was it? It was Alonzo and Mel. Alonzo and Mel got that thing started in the background to get Mario here, and all this change started. The brotherhood started it, just like you
Yeah,
explained about that brotherhood.
it was them, but it was also other individuals behind the scenes,
Right,
and
right.
we'll keep them behind the scenes, because I kind of got a feeling of who was part of getting Mario here and getting Alonzo here, and we'll just leave that as that. But you know what? Those guys are back home, and I and even after a loss, and I'm not. It's not your business. It's not the people who's listening business to know exactly what the conversations are like between the text conversation between me and Mario or me and Alonzo. But I will say this: I try to make sure that I text one or both of those guys after a loss, because it's not after a win that you need that support.
Amen.
As a player, as a coach, as a general manager, as a director of player personnel, it's after that loss that you sometimes may second guess yourself. Or hey, maybe I should have, or what if, and how about, and you know what? Bottom line is, you can't what if, because what if a frog had a glass ass and we broke all the time? Listen, Mario, hey, keep grinding, bro. Alonzo, keep grinding, bro.
Yep.
And I'll be there to support you to the end.
Thrill, it has been awesome. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna I'm gonna rewatch this. Okay, even though I just finished living it myself, it's my first time talking to you. I follow you on Twitter. I know as much as I can about you in terms of hurricane lore and everything that you've done in the community. Thank you for your time, brother. I know homecoming's coming up November 5th, FSU. I hope that you'll be part of the festivities on campus. If so, I hope to run across you and meet you and everything like that. And last but not least, I hope it's not the last time on this show. And whenever we can get you on, even if it's for 5 minutes.
Well, you need to talk to Big O, because you know what, I should swing on Big O. I really should. This son of a gun, this is the first time calling me in a few years, asked me to do a show. You know what? I should have just told him, nah, you do the show with me, because I hadn't heard from Big O in a while, dog. It's good to get on. It's good to get on and support. And I believe anything that is positive. I will support anything that is positive when it comes to South Florida and Florida in general, because we are a diverse community.
Yes.
And we've seen the highs, we've seen the lows, and it's important to have an institution such as the University of Miami that can keep the masses together.
Yes.
As we move forward for a better and brighter future. I don't care if you're from Venezuela, I don't care if you're from Cuba, I don't care if you're from Goulds, Paran, Florida City, Naranja. We need to stick together. And like I've told people before, it's the 305 against the world.
Amen. Thrill. I'm gonna go ahead and message you on the side as a thank you. Like I said, I'll follow you on Twitter. If you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. Doesn't matter. But thank you, man. Like I said, I hope it's not the last time. But listen, you're free to stick around if you want to. We got one more segment, but we're gonna
go ahead. I gotta go cook, man. What's wrong with you? My wife is talking. She ain't got time for that, man. Y'all, man, I gotta go, man. I'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you. Stay safe and go Canes.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.